Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. David Orman, and you are listening to another session of the Wellness Shot for the week of January 12th, 2026. If I said this is a topic very near and dear to me, if I said the word marathon, about 80 to 90% or so of the people would say, I don't like running or I can't because. Let me leave that aside for a second. We have about 1% that said, been there, done that. Let me add to the conversation. And we have another 10% or so that said, hmm, you have my attention. Go on with this one. So for the first group, running a marathon is difficult, but it is also one of the most life altering, life changing, improving things you can do with your life. If you are suffering from anything physical, anything emotional, anything spiritual, any degree of suffering, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, depression, just general confusion, not knowing what to do, worried about the future, fill in the blank. I promise you, listen to the end. Stay with me to the end of this, and it will at least get you thinking, if not completely change your mind about it. So the marathon is an interesting thing. It's 26.2 miles. I've done 13 of them over the last, I don't know, 20 something years. And the marathon itself is the reward. The hardest part is not that day, that event, although it is challenging. It's the preparation. And the preparation is usually a couple hundred miles, 300 miles. And that is where the magic and miracles start to happen, so to speak. Number one, the most important thing in your life, the most important skill in your life that you can ever develop or that you can ever pass on to your kids or whomever is this. It's not motivation. Motivation is like a match. You light it, it flames up, and then a couple seconds later, it burns out. The number one thing is discipline. It is the key to being successful in anything in life, by far, hands down, discipline. Marathon teaches you discipline. You have to train, otherwise you will not finish. And generally speaking, depending on what you want to do, for me, I just want to enjoy every single mile. I want to learn and I want to finish. So 3 days a week is a good thing. The first during the Monday through Friday will be shorter runs, and the Saturday will be a longer run. But for those who are interested in time or have different goals, you may need 4 days a week. But it teaches you discipline. Number two, if you go as a group, which I'd encourage you to do, you start to learn how other people function as well, how their particular skill set, which may be completely different than yours, you start to learn how they are successful at certain things, how they cope with certain things. You may learn about them and how they've overcome so much suffering because people have a tendency to talk, particularly on long runs, because it's long runs, but also because you get so tired, especially a 20-mile run or 15-mile run. You get very, very tired, and all your defense mechanisms, all of that yap, yap, yap in the front of the brain starts to stop, and the real truth starts to come out. And if you can hear that clearly, or if you hear it with someone else and they are kind enough, they trust you enough to share that, you will learn massive amounts, not only about them that you can apply to your life, but especially about yourself. That inner voice, that quiet voice that the great masters always talk about, it isn't a constant chatter. It's that soft voice that talks in phrases, and you'll hear a phrase and it will stick with you. It can provide answers to your deepest questions, to your most troubling issues. It will provide direction. It will provide anything you ask of it because you will get quiet, because you get really tired. Second thing is you will learn how to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself in preparation for that event because it is such a challenge. You learn to hydrate properly. You learn to take proper nutrition, in particular minerals, trace minerals, and electrolytes, which most people are deficient on. I've been saying that for decades, particularly the trace minerals. You learn to eat properly. You learn what foods you can consume beforehand to burn it up as energy and what foods will repair your body. You will be in the best shape of your life. You will lose weight if that's done properly and if that is one of your goals. And as I mentioned, you will learn how to take care of yourself. You will learn how to comfort yourself. You will learn how to push yourself. You'll get both ends of the spectrum. The third thing is when you do the event uh, here in Central Florida, in the Orlando area, well, we always, my wife and I typically will do the Disney events. We've done, I don't know, maybe 50 of them. And as I mentioned, 13 of them were marathons. And people from all over the globe will come. So we've had people from various parts of Africa, and all of the continents, Europe, Australia. I ran a couple of times with people from Japan, from the Netherlands, and you hear things that make you feel, that make you learn, that make you appreciate. There was a gentleman from some country in Africa that seems to have a coup regularly, suffering from a number of diseases. But one of the major challenges that they have, huge challenges they have, is getting clean water. And I'll never forget, there was the race was hot. It was one of these days in January that was unusually warm. It was in the high 80s. To feel like temperature was probably in the low 90s. Coming off the blacktop was, it made it uncomfortable. And so people were complaining about the water because it was warm. And there was this one gentleman who had this big smile on his face. And it was around mile 17, 18, 19, somewhere where you where you start to get a little cranky because it's hot. Your energy reserves are starting to fade. And I remember striking up a conversation with him and basically saying something like, "Why are you happy?" And he said, "Look at all this water." And I said, "Yeah, I know. It's kind of warm." And he goes, "No, where I come from, sometimes we have to go miles for water." And the story he told was heartbreaking. And I have since that time, it was either 2016 or 17. I have never looked at water the same. I've always appreciated it to a larger degree than any degree possible had I not heard that story and his moving story. We had other people from Japan. There was a guy, a couple from Japan, and I could speak some Japanese, so we were going back and forth. I'd get a little bit ahead, they'd get a little bit ahead, et cetera, et cetera. And we were near the end, and they started crying. It's not an uncommon thing. You get very emotional, especially when you burn off all the glucose. The liver only stores about 2,000 calories of glucose. When that gets burned out, the person gets very emotional. I said, do you need some gels or something? I have a couple of extras. You can have that. He goes, no, no, no. We spent 10 years saving up for this event. We're never going to be able to do it again, and it's almost over, and it's a very overwhelming situation. And that was extraordinarily touching. There have been many, 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 many other instances like that where I could think of my life before marathons and then after, and I dramatically a better person because of the people that you interact with. So I would highly encourage you this year, as one of your dreams, as one of your goals, as one of your missions, as one of your commitments, sign up for something like that. And before you tell me my knees are this, my this is that, you can do it in spite of, and it will assist you unless there's something dramatic. By the way, along the route, I've seen blind people. I've seen people with artificial limbs. Yesterday was the marathon. I didn't do it, but I had watched somebody push someone else in a wheelchair the entire 26.2 miles. So there is always somebody who is suffering in a way that we who are very fortunate to have health, to have all our limbs, etc., have no idea. There, as a sidebar, there was a 25-year study from nurses, And they have shown unequivocally that those runners, and there were over, as I mentioned, 25,000 runners, and they have shown that the runners, those who were consistent runners, had healthier joints than those who did not. So running ruins the joints? Absolutely not. Incorrect running might, or improper nutrition before and after might, but running itself is the most natural thing for human beings. I hope this stimulated something within at least some of you, because it is such a remarkable event. It is such a life-changing event. For me, it is a combination of spiritual, emotional, psychological therapy that I have never gotten in anything else before. I train to finish because martial arts are my main thing. Everything else comes second. But if running is your main thing, then you can train harder and longer, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, do it according to you. Work it around your lifestyle, work it around your dreams. But do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Work it around this year. You've been listening to The Wellness Shot. My name is Dr. David Orman. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. The more people that do, the more people get this information. Thank you again.